Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So guys, after having our discussion on the yearly predictions for all the rising signs, I have already uploaded a series on how, as per numerology, if you have different personal year matching your date of birth vibration, your Mulank, how this year is going to be. So guys, my earnest request, the only thing which stops any astrologer to put more time and energy in the researches if they will see and they witness that their hard work is not being spread or being circulated with good numbers. So my request, please share all those videos if you found them to be helpful in your social media handles. And after that, just because I'm so fresh in my mind with all the details of the important transit, so I was just contemplating like last night on this thing that okay, if I were to say which planet is going to be having a competitive edge next year, which planet is going to have a leverage, and here I'm actually giving emphasis to the slow moving planets basis their placement in the transit. We all know this thing that Jupiter next year is going to be transiting in the Gemini, which is not a very favorable placement for it, but after that in 2026 it's going to be in the sign of its exaltation. When we talk about from Saturn's point of view, Saturn is definitely, it is going to be there in next sign for 2.5 years. So now after doing a thorough analysis and scrutinization, I definitely came to this conclusion that it is the planet Rahu which is going to be calling the shots, which is going to be having a leverage or upper edge next year. Now what makes me say that? We all know this thing guys, that this is one dictum over where whether you will go by the language of the scriptures or whether you will take the modern interpretation as well, because these days our life is being ruled and controlled very strongly by the technology, by the social media, which is a domain over where Rahu has its control. And 90% of the times guys, now we are not in that day and age where the strength of your muscle or bullying is gonna win you something. Over here the mental prowess or your mental intelligence only which actually serves better, and that is also one area where Rahu is going to have its major say. So the point which I'm trying to say over here is that if we have to take into consideration the state and dignity and strength of the planets in 2025, so Saturn being transiting in the Pisces sign on March 30, different people have different interpretation, but you cannot compare this placement. Like Saturn in Pisces couldn't be as strengthened as it could be in Aquarius, in Capricorn, in the sign of Venus, Mercury. So I mean to say, from Saturn's point of view, it is a mediocre placement. When we talk about from Jupiter's point of view, Jupiter is also like leaving the domain of one inimical sign and entering the another inimical sign. So it's the Rahu only which is going to have a strengthened say next year. So that in itself means that if you're already in the Mahadasha, Antardasha of Rahu, this could be a very important year for you. If you are already close to the age of the maturity of the Rahu, like you are close to the 42 years of age, this could be a very auspicious year for you. Or if you are having a Rahu return, like you are close to the 17-18 years of age, you're close to the 35 or 36 years of age, this could be a very important year for you. So all what it comes down to is that what kind of role Rahu is playing for you. But now guys, here comes the catch. Like the way if you would have seen the thumbnail of this video over where I have written this thing that it is going to be a relationship of the gain and loss. Because with this alignment, we all know that Rahu works as per the energies and as per the style and functioning of the planet Saturn. And Ketu somehow gives the result akin or equivalent to the planet Mars. We say that Shani vat Rahu and Kuja vat Mangal. So that means Rahu gives results colored with the fashion and style of the Saturn, and Ketu gives result somehow equivalent to the energy of the planet Mars. So now the point which I'm saying over here is that the dispositor of the Rahu is going to be transiting in the Pisces sign. So now this is going to be a typical 2 and 12 combination. And guys, never ever underestimate the power of the original Kal Purush Kundli. Like if you will go by the original Kal Purush Kundli, Saturn's transit in the 12th house, which is very much strongly connected with the zodiac sign Pisces, is also connected with the imprisonment yoga as well. So for certain ascendants, when I was contemplating on this whole alignment, the way planets are shifting their signs, the way things are happening, recently we came across this news of this flash flood which happened in Spain. So all of that is just a premonition of what might be coming in next few months in the pipeline. I am praying to God that it should not happen, but the way whole geopolitical shifts are taking place, Canada was initially so friendly towards India, and suddenly they took a stark U-turn in the BRICS summit. The way Chinese president met with Indian Prime Minister, which has been now the talk of the town in all the geopolitical discussion and all. So what I'm saying over here is that this is going to be as much as beneficial and a kingmaker kind of combination this could be of the placement of Rahu and Saturn, like Rahu coming from the Pisces to the Aquarius and Saturn from the Aquarius going to the Pisces. So as much as of the kingmaker combination this could be for certain rising sign, it is equally going to be threatful for certain people, which could also cause typical case of the imprisonment as well, like defamation and disgrace as well. So again guys, I do not know what kind of placement you have in your natal chart. I do not know what kind of dashas you are currently going through, but transit still holds this power to somehow change and alter our external circumstances around us, and that is something which we will try to understand in this video, customized to all the rising sign. So okay, let's look at what is going to be in store for the Aries Lagna. So guys, to begin with, now you have to understand this thing that both Saturn and Rahu for the Aries Lagna hold this position and power to create a kingly combination for them. Like if someone tells you that okay, Saturn is a malefic planet for the Aries, trust me, that person might not have done a proper research in this. We all know that okay, any amateur or novice, any beginner astrologer can say this thing looking at the any chart that okay, trine house planets are going to be beneficial for you, but the Dushtana Bhava rulership is gonna make a planet like malefic for you. It's not as simple as that. There's lot many calculations which you have to get into. So what I'm saying over here is that for the Aries Lagna, Rahu and Saturn somehow plays a very pivotal important role. But now the concern over here is that the shift which is going to be taking place in the house of the Aries Lagna, in the matters of their 11th house and the 12th house, this whole shift, and especially the kind of sensitive the month of April is going to be, when majority of the planets are going to be conjunct in their 12th house, this could be a time of some major upheaval, major shift. So guys, I'll not be surprised if you are already a Aries Lagna, start cleaning your acts. Saturn's transit from the 12th house, I do not want to repeat it many times, but it is a typical combination which actually is responsible for people going to the prison. Obviously, if you have those deeds, if you have that questionable acts attached to it and all of the past karma which has led to you to this point, this transit holds this power to take you there. But at the same time, Rahu in the 11th house becomes exceptionally strong. So it all comes down to how you will use the surge of this energy. Are you gonna uplift, benefit other people, or you're gonna just use to manipulate or kind of disguise yourself to take advantage of other people or like con people in a large setting, in a large numbers. So this is all we can attach for the Aries Lagna. If I were to say, in the case of the Aries Lagna, they will get the results very quickly. Like any of the good deeds done by you during this time can suddenly go viral. Any of the bad deeds done by you can straight away take you to the prison. So that is the kind of yoga which the Aries Lagna natives are going to be going through with this whole shift taking place. Now when we talk about for the Taurus Lagna natives point of view, definitely guys, in your case this whole combination is taking place in your 10th house and 11th house. I would say that in a way this whole shift is making the Taurus Lagna natives, giving them a position of advantage. Like this could be a time when in this year you could elevate to that kind of millionaire status, some big position, big power. Again guys, everything comes down to astrology is a knowledge of tailor-made science. This video is going to be watched by someone who is heavily under debt, or someone who's already like a millionaire or billionaire. So again, it all comes down to what is getting applicable in your case. All what I'm telling you over here is that in the transit, before, what was happening in your case was Saturn was for the past 2.5 years was there in your 10th house, and we all know this thing that Saturn in the 10th house, it a lot of astrologers would have been telling this thing, oh, now you are going through that Panch Mahapurush yoga, of that Shash yoga, but it's not as simple as that. Saturn in the 10th house gives you chance to work. The result, it still keeps held back, it still holds the result, but that comes when Saturn comes to the 11th house. And we all know that Rahu just wants to experiment things, it wants to grow things, bombard things, make you go viral. Suddenly everyone is noticing you, your work is in everyone's attention, everyone's eyes. So I would say that for the Taurus Lagna natives, the kingmaker Rahu in its strength and dignity is at the right place for the Taurus Lagna. I would have said the same for the Aries Lagna as well, but in their case, as much as strong Rahu is for them, but Saturn was making them vulnerable being in the 12th house. Any miscalculated moves, any of those unethical, dishonest moves can actually land them in trouble. But for the Taurus Lagna, they are actually at the safest zone, and lot many possibilities, options, opportunities for growth for these guys. Now, when we talk about for the Gemini Lagna natives, definitely guys, in your case, if you will pay attention, in your case, Saturn is now going to be coming to your 10th house, and Rahu is going to be coming to your 9th house. Now guys, the good part about this transit is that Rahu in the 9th house tend to become very like curious about different culture, about learning different things. Now the way it is going to be working out for you, that whatever new learning and new skill you are going to be acquiring, you can be straight away getting the provision, opportunities, platform to implement that as well. This could be a case, those typical cases that, okay, you go to film school. We know that the in the film school, musical school, theater groups, how strong is of the competition. Every year so many people get into those drama school, film school, but they are like hand-picked people who get selected, who get the job, or who get hired. Obviously for actors it's like every single time they have to give auditions, but I mean to say there's a lot of the inconsistency. But if you are a Gemini Lagna and next year you are in this kind of situation, there is a high possibility. Now again guys, I'm not saying over here that it is going to be the time of reward, of recognition. No, Saturn in the 10th house, you will get the work, and trust me this thing, being famous, being wealthy is not everything. First, to get the work, ask this thing to majority of those freelance people who are dying to be busy, who are dying to be not coming home for 3 days, but what they are lacking is that they are not getting the work. So Gemini Lagna natives have this kind of possibility for them. In a way, when we talk about from the millionaire and from some doing something stupendously big and good, Rahu's placement in the 9th house generally seen as a good sign that Rahu knows through different means how to tweak the prospects of your luck, how to create its own luck. So I would say that in majority of the ways, and for all those people like who I'm also connected with, and obviously if you are a Westerner and you have deep interest in Vedic teaching, in Vedic sciences, then definitely you are utilizing Rahu in the 9th house already. Your interest and faith, devotion in foreign religion, foreign teachings and all. So definitely it's going to be a very good time for all those people as well. So yes, this is how I'm looking at for the Gemini natives. Now guys, when we talk about for the Cancer Lagna natives, now definitely guys, in your case, Rahu is going to be coming to your 8th house, where it becomes very mysterious, where it becomes very very ferocious. Like it will not hesitate to do something which might be frowned upon, which might be feared. So like Rahu in the 8th house becomes exceptionally strong to do anything, to go to any extent. Now the little bit of the hurdle over here is that the dispositor of the Rahu, or I would say Rahu actually gives result as per the planet Saturn only. Now Saturn is going to be coming to your 9th house. So the only thing over here is that, see, we say this thing, the Lal Kitab says this thing, that Saturn, whenever it is in the 9th house, it takes the pledge or vow of the guru, of the religion, to serve the justice. So I mean to say, for the Cancer Lagna natives, I would still say this thing, that they still have to clean their acts. What I said for the Aries is slightly getting applicable for the Cancer Lagna native as well. That if you will push your luck too far, too hard in the matters which are questionable, which are very unethical, so there is going to be those kind of situations, circumstances. Let's say for example, other people around you have been provoking you, do this bro, we will support you, take the chance, take the call, do that first shot and we will support you. And when you will end up doing something which is going to be considered as very courageous, very fearless, and suddenly you will find yourself being in a victimized kind of situation, being in a situation of manipulation. So all of that is getting applicable for those people who are going to be falling in the negative vulnerable side of Rahu in the 8th. But let's say for example, if you're already doing something in the realm of technology, innovation, occult, spirituality, inspiring people, you suddenly, these days there is a horde of spiritual content creators, and I highly appreciate it. They all are doing good job. Whatever can actually give hope and give solace and direction to the world, to humanity, to anyone, that is highly appreciable, commendable thing. So this could be one those kind of situation where many spiritual creators will get good platform. They will be able to inspire, uplift people with their journey. So all of that is good, but if you are falling on the negative side, then you have to be cautious. Now when we talk about for the Leo Lagna natives, so in your case, it is actually making you a little bit vulnerable. In any case, see, both Rahu and Saturn, they do not like you. Okay, I am so sorry to say this thing, but Saturn and Rahu, they don't like your ascendant lord at all. And now they're going to be in a state. Again, same thing which I said for the Aries Lagna is getting applicable for the Leo as well. This is a typical case of the imprisonment yoga. This is one such kind of case where Rahu in the 7th house might motivate you, encourage you towards performing those kind of deeds. Again guys, when we talk about bravery which Mars shows, that is the kind of bravery which comes with discipline and within the boundaries of righteousness. But Rahu has been attached with the audacity, like doing something which is always frowned upon, like a shameless kind of bravery. Warrior Rahu, beyond doubt, Rahu is the most fearless. It is like a hero. So I mean to say, now what is going to be happening, that in the 7th house, Rahu might instigate you to cut the corners. Rahu might instigate you to even, this could be cheat on your partners or something, and the repercussion of that is going to be decided by the Saturn which is going to be there in the 8th house. This could be a typical case that too much of the multiple partners can give you some sort of STD. I'm so sorry to say this thing. Or this could be a case that any casual or dishonest means opted by Rahu in the 7th house might not land well, because Saturn is going to be transiting in your 8th house. So again guys, the punishment which comes from the Saturn, from the 8th house, from the 12th house is always very dark. It is always very kind of fearful, and over where the curses, delays, diseases, undiagnosed spirit related problem, paranormal problem, all of that comes into picture. So my recommendation to the Leo Lagna native is that definitely when we are talking about what we have talked from the Aries Lagna point of view, where there could be the vulnerability of the imprisonment, what we talked about from the Cancer point of view, and same is the case which I will say for the Leo Lagna's point of view. This is one of the good placement of Rahu, especially when it comes down to doing something in the realm of unifying the world through some very innovative kind of tech, kind of advancement, usage of technology, and for any of your business interest which is not only tech driven, which is not only making people's lives better, but it is also like has got some deep underlying humanitarian intent attached as well. So if you are working in those domain with that mindset, Rahu in the 7th house for the Leo Lagna can still manifest good results. But if you are falling in the dishonest and vulnerable side of Rahu, in a malefic way, behaving in the 7th house, the immediate repercussion of that might come as a punishment from Saturn in the 8th house. So which could lead towards some sudden losses, sudden expenses, sudden allegations, sudden imprisonment. So all of that can happen. So the Leo Lagna natives as well, they have to be a little bit careful. Again guys, don't forget this thing. In your case, your 4th lord and the 9th lord, Mars is going to be transiting in your 12th house at least for the first 5 months. So that means you are on the radar. And out of that, if you are already knowing this thing, that there are those people who are secretly envious of you, plotting things against you, they are watching your moves, and then you're gonna act something, do something stupid, so then definitely this is a typical case of Saturn in the 8th, Mars in the 12th, which can land you in trouble. So these guys have to be careful. But yes, for people opting for righteous means and measure, this could be the time for elevation of status and some sort of global fame and all. Now when we talk about for the Virgo natives point of view, now definitely guys, in your case, this whole combination is taking place in the 6th house and the 7th house. This is considered as a good combination because at the end of the day, both Saturn and Rahu are favorable planet for your Lagna. Rahu in the Upachya Bhav in the 6th house is considered as exceptionally strong. Saturn in the 7th house, in the original Kalpurush Kundli, this is the house where Saturn attains exaltation. So whatever Rahu will trying to be innovating in your daily work life, whatever Rahu is going to be working in the matters of your, this could be any competitive sphere, anything to do with the matters of the credit, loan, if you are in dire need of some big sum of money which you want to implement to push forward your any of the business goals and commercial goals and all. So this whole alignment taking place, this whole shift and swap of Rahu and Saturn taking place in your 6th house, 7th house is equally beneficial, whether you are a service professional, whether you are in your own business and something, but it is a good combination. The thing is, Rahu in the 6th house becomes exceptionally strong in order to intimidate, in order to fight back, and in order to exert authority in a very, I would say that in a very strong way, because Rahu somehow works more on the mental plane. So you have this kind of intuitive insight that you can understand the move of your opponents much in advance. Implement your strategy accordingly. So for the Virgo Lagna natives as well, I would say that this is definitely going to be benefiting them. Now guys, when we talk about for the Libra Lagna natives, now guys, in your case, Rahu is going to be transiting to your 5th house and Saturn is going to be transiting in your 6th house. Now one way of looking at this, because Saturn in the 6th house is considered as good, there is no doubt to that, but we have to take into consideration that in the original Kalpurush Kundli, 5th house belongs to the planet Sun, and Rahu is more hateful towards Sun and Ketu is more hateful towards the Moon. They both do not consider Sun and Moon luminaries as their friends, definitely, but over and above that, Rahu is more hateful towards Sun and Ketu is more hateful towards Moon. So the point which I am saying over here is that and Rahu's influence in the 5th house, it is good. Like when we talk about people who are like very they are lover of adventure, they think big, they dream big, they want to do something better for themselves or give it back to the world, give it back to the humanity. So I would say that if you are in that mindset, or if in your line of work, technology or artificial intelligence, something to do with the new age kind of technology, innovation and all, if you're already working in on that domain and somehow there is a humanitarian angle attached to it as well, you want to make money, but at the same time you're gonna do something which is gonna improve and revolutionize the life of a common man as well. So in this combination, Rahu and Saturn, this whole combination of this whole swap, Rahu coming to your 5th house, Saturn coming to your 6th house, can actually make you a warrior where you are going to be undefeatable, like of we say that a typical invincible kind of yoga that can happen. So again guys, what I have seen in my research is that people generally, big politician and all, generally people who get into the imprisonment, 6th house can give you enemies, but imprisonment and defamation, that has got more to do from the 8th house and the 12th house. So in your case, it is not creating that sort of vulnerability, and even Saturn in the 6th house is gonna slow down. It's not like that. If Rahu has not given you much of the credit or debts in the past 1.5 years when it was there in your 6th house, so Saturn is not gonna be causing more of that. So I would say for the Libra Lagna, you will definitely come out as invincible in any given situation, and if you are living your life, embracing the principles of Rahu of growth, expansion, innovation, this is going to be a good year for you. Now when we talk about from Scorpio's point of view, now guys, in your case, this whole exchange of the energy is taking place where Rahu is coming your 4th house and Saturn is coming to your 5th house. So guys, in a way this could be a good time for you, because Rahu's transit from the 4th house, a lot many times it has been seen that it actually gives you somehow deeper understanding of the behavior of the public, any of the new kind of trends coming in the market, or any of those kind of areas where you have to cater to the large group, large public and all. Over there, these guys can do good. We all know that Rahu in the 4th house is not good for your emotional like equilibrium, being at peace, because Rahu in the 4th house always creates that fear of insecurity, of some hidden harm or threat or something. So Rahu, because it has got more to do with the psychological energy, psychological factors. So this is how Rahu in the 4th house generally behave. And the sign lord of the Rahu of the Aquarius, which becomes the planet Saturn, it is going to be there in your 5th house. So I'm not seeing the Scorpio Lagna natives much vulnerable. All what I can say is that if you have that humility in you, if you actually want to make world better place, give back to the world, and if you're doing something which is connected to counseling, advisory, or some sort of new innovative startup and something, because 5th house also has to do with the creation of things. Rahu in the 4th house will definitely inspire you, instigate you towards some sort of laying foundation to some new startups and all. So regarding that front, it is slightly beneficial for the Scorpio Lagna natives as well. So I'm not seeing much of the vulnerability. The much it was getting generated for the Aries Lagna, Cancer Lagna, or this could be the Leo Lagna. Now moving to the Sagittarius Lagna natives. Now guys, in your case, it is going to be the time when Rahu is going to be coming to your 3rd house and Saturn is going to be coming to your 4th house. So it is actually a very beautiful combination in this way, that what I have seen generally in my research is that beyond doubt, Rahu in the 3rd house is considered as very strong. So it actually makes someone very courageous, very fearless. Native remain recipient for many opportunities, many collaboration. People all around come to support native. And if you're already working in a domain where all what you need is a right supply chain, right distribution network to promote yourself, to sell your brands or something, so you'll be able to form that team which a lot many people are always craving for. We all know this thing, that what made big brands successful is that they have that supply chain ready. Even in India, there are like so many small businesses who are doing very good. The only reason why they were never able to scale up is that their supply chain, they were not able to build that successful distribution network. So for the Sagittarius Lagna, this year your ascendant lord is going to be coming to the 7th house, Rahu being strengthened in the 3rd, and the dispositor of the Rahu, Saturn in the 4th, is going to be a good combination, especially for people who are creators, entrepreneurs, or who actually want to set up a team, set up a proper distribution network. It is going to help them. Now when we talk about from the Capricorn natives point of view, so now guys, in your case as well, Rahu is going to be coming to your like 2nd house, and Saturn is going to be transiting to your 3rd house. So guys, it is a little bit sensitive combination, because we know this thing that Rahu in the 2nd house many times make us it has this capacity to, it can instigate someone to lie, it can instigate someone to spoil the terms with their own immediate family, try to usurp someone else's share and all. So I would say that a fair sense of integrity needs to be followed this year, because now what is going to be happening is that if Rahu in the 2nd house is going to encourage, instigate someone to go for something which is not rightfully yours, Saturn in the 3rd house can create the blockage, and the dispositor of the Saturn, which is going to Jupiter, which is going to be in the 6th house as well. So it is actually going to, there is a slight possibility of things getting backfired for you. So over there you have to be a little bit careful. Definitely Saturn is your ascendant lord, it is going to be there in the 3rd house. So you want to build things, you want to start new chapter in your life, and Saturn wants to do that as well. It's just like that Rahu in the 2nd house, the way you manage your finances, the kind of integrity you are going to be following in the kind of possession you have, all of that is going to matter a lot during this time. Now guys, when we talk about from the Aquarius Lagna's point of view, now Rahu is going to be coming to your first house. So that means Rahu holds this capacity to actually make you very famous. Your degree and sense of self is gonna go all together to the next level. Like, you know, in negative cases, it can give a very bloated kind of exaggerated sense of ego. And in certain cases, like the way you know this thing, that more opportunities, more visibility, suddenly your face is everywhere. So that could be a case. But guys, the only one thing which needs to be watched with this combination, like if you have to study Saturn and Rahu in a combined way over there, then you have to be careful, because whatsoever experiments you are going to be doing during this time, this could be on your identity, on your personality, on your looks, or major areas of your life. How does it get along with your family, around your immediate family members? All of that is going to be a matter of concern. Like suddenly you come from a very traditional orthodox family. In other times, they would have accepted your decision of, you know, marrying someone who is not from your caste or something. But during this time, when Saturn is going to be transiting in your second house, so then you have to be a little bit careful. A lot many times we say this thing, that whatever risk you want to take, do it at your own disposal. Do not like ask money from your family, from your parents or something, because if anything goes wrong, your experiments, your tests and trials are gonna go wrong. It's gonna cause a dent in your relationship with your family. Guys, okay, I might have my own share of like flaws in my personality growing up, like any other person, but at least thankfully I never have had this issue with gambling. And I have actually seen that how bad this addiction of gambling could be. I remember when I was doing my MBA, so after the college time, we used to meet at a friend's place for our group study. It never used to be group study, it used to happen everything group excluding study. But coming to the point, there was this shop where we used to go in the evening just for some late night Maggie and all. It was a big shop, and we did not go there for a while. I guess it was our vacation in between or what. But when we went there after a while, we saw that the whole shop, which was of 2-story, it was a food shop, restaurant we say, and it was divided in half. And in the half of the shop now, they are selling some other business, they are doing some other business, and the half is still a restaurant. So obviously we asked them that, okay, what happened just in a couple of months. Then one of the staff member, like in a very discreet way, told us that, okay, the owner's son has got a gambling issue and problem, and he had a major loss one night. And because the family did not have much of the share, so they have to sell out half of their business. Imagine that kind of, you know, stigma, and that kind of, you know, kind of pain of that. So I mean to say, for the Aquarius Lagna, as much as good this transit is for completely revolutionizing your life, your way you look at the world, opportunities and new skills and all, taking risk and everything is fine. But we cannot overlook this fact that the dispositor of the Rahu becomes the Saturn, which is going to be there in your second house now. Saturn somehow in the second house becomes very, it's like a miser to a like very penny pinching kind of you know, habits it wants us to inculcate. Saturn says that if you can live by $10, then try to even reduce it to 8 or 7, but don't go to 15 or 20. So this is what I want to say for the Aquarius Lagna. As much as good it is for them, but we cannot overlook this fact that how Saturn is working in tandem with this Rahu, because at the end of the day, the ultimate eventually final say of the Rahu is going to be over its dispositor, and somehow Rahu and Ketu, they both are considered as the disciple of the planet Saturn only. And lastly guys, when we talk about from the Pisces Lagna natives point of view, definitely guys, in your case as well, it is little bit sensitive. Like the way, see, the sensitivity of the Aries was different. At the time when we were discussing Aries, in their case, the vulnerability was that their expansion spree, which is going to happen in the 11th house because Rahu is going to be there. If taken wrong decision, dishonest means, Saturn in the 12th house can take them to imprisonment and all. In this case, the imprisonment is not going to be happening, but the thing is that Rahu might give interest in the dark things as well. And your this quest for something unknown regarding which you are not very sure on the first note, and those uncalculated risk, the punishment might come in the form of Saturn being there in your first house. So again guys, and that is the only reason when we talk about Rahu and Ketu, why Rahu is considered as good in the 6th and Ketu is considered as good in the 12th, because everything around 12th house is somehow connected with the omens, with the rituals, with the unknown, unseen, hidden kind of energy, over where Ketu find the resonance. Rahu is all about fighting with something which it can see and it can control, it can tackle. You put Rahu in the 12th house, and 12th house energy you cannot understand from over here. 12th house you need to understand from your heart, and over there the calculation goes wrong. If you remember, I watched one of this session on the Wired YouTube channel, over where in this interview of the CIA expert who has actually worked on several covert spy operations all across the world. She said this thing, that we have been trained this thing, that if on the day of operation, if something is not feeling good, we can just abort the operation. And there is a strict policy in the CIA that no question will be asked, because even for a detective or a spy, the intuition still plays a very major role. So what I'm trying to say over here is that, and over there Rahu can slightly go wrong, and the repercussion and the impact is going to come in the form of Saturn being there in your first house. So this could be this could be Rahu in the 12th house. Has been generally seen that it can give rise to like extramarital relationship, clandestine relationship, live-in relationship, too much of the, because 12th house at the end of the day is the house of the bed pleasure. Rahu does not have a contentment anywhere. Rahu does not have a stop button to it. So too much of the overexertion can cause negatively your health as well, your public image as well. So yes, in this regard, but if I were to say, for those people who are like even ready to take the blame, just to fight for the right causes, like the way, okay, I do not want to get into the politics side of it, but recently it is happening in India, like India, again I will not take the name, with another country. So over there, what the stance of India is that, although they have never said this thing that they are responsible for it, but every country has to safeguard its interest. If there is any separatist kind of mindset brewing in any part of the world, it will be a duty of that country to safeguard its interest. And even if they have to do something, or they have to be associated or being a part of something in order to eradicate their enemies. So I mean to say, this is one such kind of combination, that Rahu in the 12th house. So secrecy and clandestine activities are used for what reasons will decide the elevation or demotion to your status. That is all what I can say with Rahu in your 12th and Saturn in your first. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.